I see all sorts from this room. Hi everyone. Just a really quick kind of impromptu video really. I was sorting out a few things indoors and I'm a bit off track this week when it comes to recording videos and things like that, because we have been rearranging bedrooms and trying to sort the garden out, and it's just been a bit chaotic. So I'm going to get back on track this week, but I was just taking my morning meds and I just thought I want to do this video of how my art has helped me through different things. I haven't really gone into the story of my disabilities and things like that, but the art has definitely helped me to get through some major things in my life. Grief, I lost my dad 2 years ago. That was hard. Chronic pain, I have several chronic pain conditions, quite unusual ones as well. I quite often say I'm going to leave my body to medical science when I'm gone, see if they can work it out. But yeah, if there's something rare out there, I'm going to get it. Firstly, I've suffered for, goodness me, 20 something years now with a quite unusual neurological condition called cluster headaches. I don't know why they call it headache, because it's not really a headache at all. But it is quite rare. Took me a long time to get diagnosed, and it's just awful. Thankfully, touch some wood, and there's lots around me, I haven't really suffered in the previous 5 years, until recently again, I will say. And I think that's down to the medication that I was put on for the other condition that I've got. So yeah, it's swings and roundabouts. When I have these cluster attacks, I have injections. The only thing that really works is pure oxygen. So I have a canister of medical oxygen, and when one of these attacks happens, I have to get on the oxygen. I don't recommend you put in cluster headaches into YouTube, because it will show you people suffering. There might even be one of me on there lingering somewhere. But yeah, it's just an awful condition, but very rare, thankfully. The other condition happened, it was just a freak thing really. I was suffering from a bad back, and I'd been making a website, and I'd been sat for quite a while in the chair, and I had a pain in my back. And I'm going to keep this really short and sweet, because I've done this story elsewhere, and I realise you lot haven't heard it, but I just feel like I'm repeating myself if I keep telling the same thing. But anyway, it resulted in a bulging disc in my back, and I realised something was horribly wrong. Went to the hospital, was in so much pain, I couldn't walk, it was just awful. I've never had issues with my back. I was actually a gymnast when I was younger, you know, I've always been quite flexible, so I've never had issues with my back. But it was really evident that something had gone horribly wrong. So I went into the hospital, and they kept me in, and they wanted to do a nerve root block to help with the pain. Now, I've always had issues with needles and backs. Again, I won't go into that, but I have a problem with it. I've got 5 kids. You wouldn't get near me with an epidural, you know, it's that bad. But anyway, I was really nervous. The radiologist that day was in a grumpy mood. I wouldn't say I wasn't cooperative, I was just nervous. And I ended up getting up on this bed in the hospital, and the radiologist, sorry, he was very short with me. Even the nurse was giving him funny looks. And to cut a long story short, he put the needle in my spine in the wrong place, and he damaged the nerves in my spine. And at first it wasn't really evident. I had a funny pain in my foot that gradually got worse and worse and worse, to the point that I couldn't walk, I couldn't sleep. My foot kind of went over into like a claw. Oh, it was just really odd. It changed to funny colour. It was going hot like fire, and then it was going cold like ice, so clearly nerve. Ended up going to another hospital and being diagnosed with something called CRPS. Now that's a very rare chronic nerve condition, and that's what I've got anyway. That is what I've got. You can Google these things if you wish, but the result is I take lots and lots and lots of medication. Some days I can walk fine, if a bit wobbly. Other days I'm tripping over my own feet. You know, it's had a major impact. One of which is chronic insomnia. I don't sleep. I go to bed at 3, 4 in the morning, and I could be awake at 6. You know, and that's it. That's hence the heavy makeup. But yeah. All jokes aside, it's horrific. It has affected my life in many ways, and you know, I really don't think I would have got through it if it hadn't been for my creative side. Art is it's a wonderful distraction. It really does help. It doesn't stop the pain, but when you're concentrating, you know, I put this in the other video. When you're concentrating on something that has that sort of meditative effect, you know, it's so good for pain and things like that. No, it doesn't stop the pain, but it absolutely helps. And same thing with grief. It was a wonderful distraction. I think that's my neighbour. There's one thing about being in the garden. Anyway, what was I saying? I think she's telling her dog off. That's hilarious. She never tells her dog off. Okay, I'm just going to carry on. There's the same thing with grief. I mean, when I lost my dad, I was already dabbling back in the artwork, and it was a nice distraction. I mean, it was odd circumstances. He'd gone in hospital for something else, and he was diabetic. He had kidney problems. He had lots of issues, but really not that old on the great scheme of things. And I only just became aware that he was in the hospital, and the next thing he was gone. You know, and we weren't so close in later years because I moved to Wales, but when I was younger we were close. So yeah, that was horrible, and you know, grief affects everyone differently, and I still think about him every day, but art helps. And I know he'd love what I'm doing now. He'd love to see all this. He'd love this little art studio we've built, and yeah, it's great. It's great. So I like to think that he's up there, and every time I see a robin pops down, I think it's him come to see. In fact, last night me and my partner were sitting on the swing, and this robin just swooped right down by our feet, and then he went again and sat there for a minute and looked at us, and then off he went again, and I was absolutely convinced. You won't convince me otherwise. I'm quite a spiritual person, so that sort of thing, you know, feathers, pennies from heaven and all that, yeah. I've got a lot of crystals and witchy things around. We quite often go off to Glastonbury. I'll take you with me next time we go off to Glastonbury, because it's about an hour and a bit up the road. And I'm looking at my son. He's in the kitchen picking his washing up, and he's literally just lifted a pair of trousers up and sniffed them. They're clean. They are clean. That's quite funny to see. I see all sorts from this room. Yeah, so I just wanted to pop up to do this little video and say, you know, if you're thinking about doing art, or if you do art, you know, it can help with these things. And please leave me a comment if you suffer with you know, any. I mean, I've got fibromyalgia as well, so I've double whammies everywhere. You know, it does help. At the moment, actually, I'm waiting to go and have a CT scan on my head. To see if I've got a brain. I've been waiting for so long for this CT scan. It's I think my brain might have withered away by then, but there we go. It's the NHS, isn't it? Yeah, I've been waiting for quite a while, and I've got to go and have that done because I had all these little odd things keep happening, and I think it was my daughter pointed out to me that at certain times my head shakes like this, and I noticed I was getting a tremor in my hand. That's just me doing that. That's not the actual tremor. But I noticed I was getting this little tremor in my hand, and then my daughter pointed out to me that, Mum, your head's shaking. Are you all right? Your head's shaking. And I just said, oh yeah, I'm tired. But then it made me think, I'd not noticed it shaking. But then when I thought about it, if I was, for instance, if there was a coffee cup on the table and I was looking at it, sometimes it was like the coffee cup was doing that. And I thought, is that my head shaking, or is that something to do with my eyes, you know? My eyes have gotten worse recently. I've been having a lot of, you know, like when you get a migraine and you get the light aura. I've been having a lot of that going on with no pain, just this weird light thing going on. And I am walking into things, walking into a hell of a lot of things. And I'm a clumsy person anyway, and obviously I walk into things because I've got a dodgy foot. But I have noticed I can't quite make it through door frames lately without banging into them, and you know, there's all sorts of weird things going on. So I went to see my GP. He wrote to the neurologist. Neurologist took a look and said, you absolutely need to come in and see us. Now, I know what they think it is. I won't say and put that out there into the universe. But, yeah, I'm still waiting on that. I'll let you know how that goes. You can follow me there if you like. But I just wanted to say, I am still here. I haven't forgotten you. And I'm halfway through recording this lovely sunflower. I've still got to do the studio tour. You get a little glimpse of it here. Got some of my pictures up. This lovely, oh, I love him, and Fluffy Duck and some lavender. Yeah, but I will see you all again soon. Probably be the sunflower tutorial. I've been dabbling in oil paints, the water mixable oil paints. Yeah. Huge learning curve. It's going to take probably about a year for that to dry, but I've started the big Mother Earth. But I also found, we went out to the range the other day, and I also found a pad that was suitable for oil paints. So I mean a little A4 pad. So I thought I'd grab that, and then I can have a practice. Apart from my big canvas, which I'm doing, I can have a play and on this little canvas anyway. I thought it would be good to do like a fantasy mythical creature, as it were, and I've ended up with something that is half owl and half cat. I'm not quite sure what to call it yet, whether to call it a cowl or an owlet, but I'm going to show you a quick. It's not finished yet. I've still got to work on his face, but I will show you that in a second. I will go and record a little thing of that. It's quite funny, and I quite enjoyed doing that because it's different from my usual. It's not different in as much as it's an animal, but it's different in as much as it's not a real animal. So yeah, I'll show you that, and I'll be back soon with a sunflower painting and studio tour and everything else. Just wanted to say thank you for subbing, everybody that subbed. Honestly, made my year. If you're not subbed, please sub up. And if you like this video, even though it's full of nonsense, please give me a thumbs up. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.